So, Governor Kasich, what do you make of those forceful remarks from the president aimed squarely at members of your party?
Well, I think it's, the issues are fair game, Pamela. And, he's out there talking about guns and he's talking about January 6th. I think it's all legitimate. And the rhetoric is going to get hotter and hotter as we get closer to the election. But I'm told that it was reported as comparing these MAGA Republicans to, I think, calling them like semi-fascist, okay? That's not what we want out of Joe Biden. That's the kind of stuff you hear out of Donald Trump. So you can be heated, but just be careful you don't go over the line, because if you're battling for the soul of the country, if I'm battling for the soul of the country, I'm trying to figure out how to get most people together, not pushing most people apart. But we're in a political season right now. It involves fundraising, and that kind of high rhetoric probably raises some money. And it's okay for them to talk about issues. I'd rather them be talking about the issues of guns and crime than all the stuff that we've been hearing about over the last few months. That would be helpful.
Well, certainly, Caitlin, the president has been ramping up his rhetoric. And as you said, today has been one of his most forceful speeches to date. Why are we hearing this message from the president focusing on Republicans and on law enforcement right now?
I think with the FBI, it's because of the attacks, the spike that you've seen in the threats against the FBI and these rank and file members, which, as President Biden said earlier today, they were just doing their job when they executed that search warrant on Mar-a-Lago. The other hand of it is also that we are 10 weeks out from the midterm elections. So this overarching message that you're seeing where President Biden is emphasizing this contrast between Democrats and Republicans, that's the point of that. And that is why he was in Pennsylvania today. He was talking about his strategy to reduce crime in the United States, but he also took plenty of opportunities to draw that contrast between Democrats and Republicans and pushing for, of course, Democrats in that state. Since they are electing a new governor, they are picking a new senator. The governor is, of course, going to pick a Secretary of State who is chief and critical to the state's elections and how those are carried out. So basically making the argument that there's a lot on the line. And Pennsylvania is getting a lot of attention from this president specifically right now. He's going to visit there 2 more times within the next week alone. Trump is going to be there holding his own rally on Saturday. And Pam, I should note that in the president's speech on Thursday, it is going to harken back to that message you often heard from him on the campaign trail about democracy being under attack.
Governor Kasich, Republicans have tried to paint Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, look, there is no excuse and no Republicans are going to stand up and defund the FBI. And that's wrong to attack this kind of an institution. We have to see how this all plays out. But it's so interesting to see Joe Biden trying to turn the tables and say, I'm not for defunding the police, when, as you know, the Democratic Party has been playing catch up because of the sense in some people in the party, extremists, just like you have in the Republican Party, extremists in the Democratic Party who are saying, well, we should defund the police, okay? What we found is that we're not defunding the police. In fact, we're refunding them because we understand the implications. And when it comes to the attacks on the FBI, these extremists in the Republican Party are just wrong about that. They're not going to defund the FBI.